All right. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of 2PoliChics. I'm Cindy.
I'm
And
Tiffany.
I was going to say hello. And of course, we have two beautiful guests with us today. Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Polly Chicks.
Hi. And hi, Sharon.
Hi, 2PoliChics.
How you guys doing today?
Good, good.
Great.
All right. So who is Melissa and who is Sharon? All right. Melissa Sue Griffin. She's a native New Yorker. She resides now currently in Maryland with her husband of amount of years. They have a son. Melissa is an author, a screenwriter, and a publisher. And she's also self-educated in the publishing field. And she self-published her very own first book back in 2011 called Traveling Light. After leaving her job due to personal hardships, she started her own company, Traveling Light Publishing, which I personally know, guys. She has published several books, including 3 of her own and a couple of mine. So, like I said, I know this personally, and she continues to make others' dreams become a reality. Welcome, Miss Melissa. Sharon, Sharon Shaw. After leaving the Department of Education due to an injury, she founded She Motivates Them, a company that is dedicated to helping people discover their passion and pursue their dreams. Through her ministry, which she calls Soul Showers, she coaches, counsels, and mentors women focusing on spiritual and personal growth and development. Sharon is a published author as well, a speaker, a chaplain, and an ordained minister. She has a weekly podcast called Soul Showers with Shari. That's like a tongue twister. Soul Showers with Shari. And
Say
she's
that
famous
now.
for her mac and cheese. Guys, you'll be able to order it soon. All right. Hi, guys. Welcome once again to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. So, what we're doing in Women's Month, which is in March, will probably come out by in Women's Month. What we wanted to focus on was women who were not necessarily all out on TV or Kamala Harris or legislator, these kind of people. And we wanted to focus on women in everyday, like how we always politics is everywhere and in your everyday life. So we decided to have everyday people on with us. And so you guys are in the trenches and you're doing your thing. And what I like to say, 50 and fabulous and thriving. So you guys are 50 fabulous and thriving. And I wanted to know from you, tell me how you're thriving. And also what I also wanted to know was about your entrepreneurship and what you're doing. So either one of you can just jump in. It's a conversation.
First.
Melissa, you could go first.
Okay. Well, I started Traveling Light Publishing in 2018, but pretty much just doing a little self-education, a lot of studying, and pretty much just educated myself on the publishing industry. Um, and it's been a struggle. It's a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of patience. But I enjoy doing it. Um,
What did you self educate? Like, what do you mean what did you have to, what's one, don't give away your jewels. What did you have to like learn in order to publish?
um, the formatting of publishing, the editing, the um, book covers, doing the illustration part of it. So it
Yeah.
was a lot. It was a lot, but I didn't let it stop me. I kept going and just reading and studying and
Mm-hmm.
going to Google University and
Exactly.
YouTube
Exactly.
Yeah.
University. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out. It paid off.
Mm-hmm. Because I tried it and I was so turned off by it. I paid you to do it. I was
Yeah.
so turned off by it. But you're a great publisher and I would pay you to do it every book. I don't want to be
Thank,
bothered with that.
thank you. Thank
What
you.
about you, Miss Sharon Shaw?
Well, I want to go way, way, way back. So I'm 50 plus and fabulous, but I want to go back about 40 years. from the age of 10, don't know where this thought came from. We didn't have any business people in our family that we knew of. About age 10, a family friend came to our house and he was just telling us about the things that we could sell and we could make money. And what kid doesn't want to make money? You know, we weren't getting an allowance. So that was like the lights went on. And from then I said at that very young age, I want to be a business owner. And now we know that as being an entrepreneur. So having that initial experience with that, being young, no one to pattern myself after, it just stayed with me all of my life. And like most people, you find yourself doing the actual thing that you said you want to do or that you love without having a title or without knowing what you're doing. So fast forward to adulthood, friends would have businesses. And I'm like, oh, I'll make you the flyer. I'll come up with a cute little name and get you some business. And that was a pattern. So to now, you mentioned in my bio that I got an injury on the job, and that thrust me into entrepreneurship. I was doing it all along, but now it finally had a name and it was taking form. And I just found myself thriving already in the things that I was born to do or that I was already doing. But now I was, like Melissa said, going to Google University, finding out the how-tos and different things like that. So I'm actually thriving in that now, 50 plus, coming into my own, so to speak. And that's how I started coming into entrepreneurship. And the thing about it is, I've not arrived, but I'm still growing and still learning and actually still finding out who I am and what it is exactly I want to do in the so-called target audience.
When you guys talked about, well, you talked about health. I know, Melissa, you had some health challenge that moved you in that direction also. For me, same thing. I had a surgery, and then I realized, I started adding up. I was like, I've been working more than 30 years. And the government is designed to just keep you on this wheel of work, 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 work. And when I told them that I was leaving, it just seemed preposterous to everybody. What are you going to be doing? Who are you going to work for next? Why are you coming out of business? It's always about work, work, work. So I want to talk a little bit about how you guys use those challenges to propel you into business. And speaking of health, how has COVID affected that?
Well, for me, I spend a lot of time like with my back injury. Like I spent a lot of time just laying around at first. It was quite depressing. Just laying around and just like, oh, what am I gonna do? And you have this gift, you know what you're supposed to do. And I'm laying around, I'm like, and it just came to me one day, like, get up, grab that laptop, get your notes, your million notes you want.
Exactly.
Do it, and it was a lot of that, but it was like that push that it was like, that's what pushed me. My injury is what pushed me into like, really, okay, look, you can do this. This is what you're supposed to be doing, And then here's COVID, COVID comes along and it's like, okay, here's another down. I'm like, oh, it's like you get in that rut because of everything that's going on around you, but you still have to get up and get to it, But I pretty much just push myself. I have a lot of strong, amazing women. I have a life coach. Where is she? So yeah, a lot of amazing women in my family, like, okay, you got this, you can do this. And that's what pretty much that pushes me. Yeah.
Well, I would say in this world and in most families, I know in my family, you're taught to finish high school, go to college. I would say go to college first, but definitely get a job. And we were not taught to be entrepreneurs, have careers, look to be your own boss. So then you go into, as you say, you get on that wheel and you go into the workforce. But I would be on jobs just like daydreaming, doing my work now, known as an excellent worker, but they didn't know in my head I'm daydreaming, thinking about all of the things I want to do, who I really am, and just going to job after job miserable. So in the Bible, David says in the book of Psalms, it was good that I was afflicted. And he felt like it was good that he was afflicted so that he could get to know the Lord. I say that too, but it was good that I was afflicted so that I could go into entrepreneurship. Because had I not been injured on a job, I would have still just been coming in literally. Who punches the clock anymore? Literally punching a clock to go in and punching a clock to leave. And I knew that just was not for me. So in the midst of my daydreaming, I was injured. And so what that did for me is it gave me time because I had to end up getting on workers' comp. So I actually looked at the injury as a blessing, and I went through a lot of pain, and I still have pain now. But I looked at that affliction as a blessing because it catapulted me into where I am now, still growing, but I'm still shaping my life to fit what I want to do, not what I'm required to do so that I could just pay bills. So that has helped me to thrive even in the midst of injury. And before COVID came, I went to a book signing event, had some speaking engagements lined up and different things like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. You know, you feel validated and okay, yeah, so this is going to really work out. You never know what's around the corner. COVID hit and I wasn't trying to go to anybody's speaking engagement. And it felt very discouraging because it's like, I was geared up into thinking I'm going to be thrust into this crazy successful motivational speaking thing, and it just didn't happen. But on the other side of that, COVID, even in the midst of the loss and deaths, and I feel bad about that, but we still have to see the silver lining, so to speak. So with this time off, this pandemic, as people call it, it's given me time to perfect stuff because I wanted to be this savvy businesswoman, but there was still a lot that I didn't know. I didn't go to Google University like Melissa did. And so I had to start doing that, start making myself more marketable, more valuable, learning more about my field, the coaching field and counseling and business things. So COVID has had its pros. I'm just looking forward for it to be over so that I can really put all of this theory into practice.
To go back into your coaching and like you said, your engagements and all of those things. So we have COVID, we have health issues, we have loss of employment. With all of those things that's happening or that has happened with you guys, how do you stay motivated? I know, Melissa, you said family and friends keep you, you know, moving forward, but what actually pushes you on those days when, you know what, I'm just going to throw in the towel and just go and do something completely different? What changes your perspective and motivates your attitude to keep pursuing your dreams regardless of any of the roadblocks that you have? What is it?
I would say for me, like what motivates me to keep going is I love what I do. And just making the smiles, like my customers and my clients, they're just happy with my work. Like, okay, look, and it's always someone calling me like, look, I need some help with this, can you help me with this? So that's what keeps me going, just to know that I'm making someone else like happy. They want to get their work out, they have something to say, they want to write a book about their life and they need a little push or some inspiration, and it makes me feel good to give that to people. So this is something I don't feel like, okay, oh, I'm having this, and I'm gonna be honest, like there are some days where I don't feel like getting out of bed, but my laptop, laptop is right there. It's right beside me. It is something that I'm constantly doing.
Let me tell, for your publishing, you are very personalized in your work. You get to call you and speak with you, and we don't know what the product's going to be when we receive it, but it looks exactly like what we envisioned it to be. And I think that shows when you love your work and you love to see people happy, and you got a good business because everybody has a story in them.
Yes.
So you have a business, it's like a computer or a phone. Everybody wants a computer. Everybody wants a phone. It's not this person don't like this or that person might not like that. You got so much ahead of you in terms of storytelling for people, because everybody's got a story no matter what. everybody.
Yes.
And I love that personalized service that you give.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like real talk, real talk.
Thank
And
you.
I was gonna ask Sharon the same question, but in that same mindset, what keeps you going? But how do you deal with disappointments in your life? Like, how do you deal with the things that are setbacks? I know you touched on it a little bit, where you're like, well, you know what, I'm not feeling it today. Like you just said, Melissa, some days you're just not. We all have those days where we're not feeling it, where we're like, you know what, today is not the day. But obviously you have those motivations, but also how do you guys deal with the disappointments? I'll direct that directly toward you, Sharon, because I know you said COVID was one of the disappointing things after your speaking engagements. You're like, hey, I have like 16 engagements set up. Now I have to stop them. What do I do? So how do you deal with those things in the setback?
I love that question. And it's crazy because when you see that someone is a coach or a motivational speaker, the tendency is to believe that we've got it all figured out. We're going to be okay. But please, sometimes I need therapy. I need coaching. I need motivation. I thank God for Melissa, for watching 2PoliChics, like the strong support system that's around me. That's how I keep motivated. Prayer. And on the days when I don't feel like praying, you know what? I allow myself to feel like I want to throw in a towel. I allow myself to feel disappointed. I allow myself to stay a few extra hours in the bed, but then I get up. In the midst of disappointment, I realize for me, the whole part of it is to realize that who I am and what I do is not for myself. So that helps me to deal with disappointment. That helps me to get out of the bed knowing that, okay, sister so-and-so might need you today. I remember a day last year that I was literally falling apart over something. And I called my mother, for that sympathy, that empathy. She was not trying to hear it. She's normally my motivational system that helps me with disappointment. But she was like, excuse me, I know you're not falling apart over such and such. She was like, what if someone, and I knew what she was going to say, what if someone called you for an engagement or to be coached or to be motivated and you falling apart over something? So you got to just pick yourself up in the midst of disappointment and know that who you are and what you do is not for you. I'll make it personal. It's not about me. So I have to brush off whatever I'm going through and be there to help and to heal that next person.
Thank you.
I like that. And I also like the fact that you said it's okay to just say, I'm not okay. It's okay if you can't pray for yourself, to have someone else pray for you. You know how you'll say, pray for me, just pray for me. I'll call my mom and just say, Mom, just say a prayer for me. And sometimes, all the time, I don't want to say sometimes, those prayers work back on track too. So
it's just like how we assume the cook doesn't eat. So no, on Thanksgiving you cook this meal, you can cook everything. What you said to them?
I don't assume that, because most cooks are really so
we forget the cook's gotta eat. So like you made Thanksgiving dinner, you in the kitchen for the whole day, you sweating in toilet for 2 days. I start on Wednesday and Tuesday. I start my food. So Tuesday, Wednesday, you done slave over everything. And then Thursday, everybody's in front of the TV or they laughing and you sweating in the bed and you so wiped out. And that's just the same as when you're constantly, you women are in fields where you're constantly, I want to say, putting out.
That's for another episode, but
y'all are putting out. But you're constantly like, and so you need something back. And so you got it. I'm glad you said about staying motivated, having a support system and people you could go to, but people that are not going to baby you and coddle you, and rub you down when you really need a slap,
Yeah.
That's true. I like that. Rub you down when you really need a slap.
You really need a slap.
I need a slap a lot.
Yeah. Oh, you did what? Okay, so not a rival. Oh, you said deal with disappointment, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Melissa wanted to chime in, but she did say, some of the days that she doesn't want to get out the bed, you look forward to the people that you're helping, and that motivates you to say, you know what, forget how I'm feeling. Let me put myself to the side for a little bit because I'm helping others. And when you help others, I know when you help others, you feel fantastic. It just, it makes you feel, it gives you like that.
Yeah.
So
what I wanted to know about, I know you you consider yourselves entrepreneurs. What I wanted to know about is this idea of multiple streams. Because there was a time when I was doing things and I was like, okay, I'm a bake. Okay, I'm a writer. Okay, I want to try out for a play. Okay, and then you feel like you kind of want to say, get over it and just pick one thing. But then there's this idea of being self-employed, multiple streams. Can you guys talk about that? Multiple streams of income.
Yes, I actually had never heard of that until a few years ago, and someone spoke that to me, that I would have multiple streams. Like, what is that, multiple streams? And now it's like such a trendy term. And to me, what it's saying is, I think we all know what it is, but it's like, it let me feel okay about being multi-talented, and that I didn't have to just choose, because I was good for that. Okay, I'm this, so that's all I have to stick to. And I'm just going to perfect that. But it's like, you might not be doing them all at the same time. Right now, let's say I'm singing or I'm writing, but at some point I want to get into home decor. So those are going to be more of my gifts turning into streams of income, ways for me to make money and to just use my gifts and talents for the world. I'm more than just what I am right now. I might just be focusing on my communication part of my gifting, but at some point I'm going to want to do a stationery line. I'm going to want to do that. And I think multiple streams are great, because like now, what if COVID just like wiped out one path that I'm taking, and I just like see no way out? It's like, wait a second, you do such and such too, right? Another stream of income. So that's other ways of, like I said, using my gifts and talents to not just help people, but have different avenues or different, I don't know how to put it, but different ways that I'm making money other than just one thing.
So what are your multiple streams, Sharon? And I'm going to come to you, Melissa. What are the things? I know you said singing. I know you're a motivational coach. You're looking at going into home decor.
Down the line.
Well, we're speaking it into existence.
I'm with you. Yes.
Yes. Are there any others that we are not aware of or that you didn't mention?
Right now, what I'm doing more than, I won't say more than anything, but definitely more than my writing, I have a couple of clients that I'm coaching. So that's a stream. When I go out and sing, which I haven't been able to do because of COVID, that's a stream. My writing and products that I sell from my, my books and my t-shirts, that's another stream. And during this time, that's another thing that has come out of this. People are figuring out ways to get multiple streams of income. You find so many people selling things. And another big thing for entrepreneurs is selling classes. So at some point, I'm going to turn my my book, Soul Showers, into a class, an online class, teaching women how to take care of their mind and their emotions. So that's another, and I'm sure
Did
there
you
will
see
be
me go like this?
No,
I can't. Oh, yeah. And guys,
Hello?
so right now, thank you. I'm actually in the midst of taking my food handlers certification, because I make the best mac and cheese. Okay, I make the best mac and cheese. That's going to be another stream of income. And when I say streams, I'm not looking to be, I know I'm not going to be, well, I shouldn't say I'm not going to be. I'm not setting out to be a billionaire off of mac and cheese. If it happens, fine. But it's something that I love to do, and it's something that can bring in a stream of income. Yeah. My delicious mac and cheese. Thank you.
I kept going like this. I kept going like this.
You. Thank you, PoliChics. And sometimes it's hard to talk about myself, but that's why I'm so thankful for this platform, because we do need to talk about what we're doing and what you guys are doing, so that we could just push each other forward. So thank you, PoliChics.
And be proud. And there's nothing wrong with shouting yourself out at all.
Not at thank all. You.
Listen, I know you said you're doing publishing. Do you write as well? What are your multiple streams that you have? What do you?
Well, I'm also a writer. I have 3 books. I am a great cook.
Okay.
So
Can I get a what?
Yes, what?
So I do have a near future endeavor, really near. Oilseals Grill catering. So yeah.
Do you have a specialty for the the catering? Soul food, Japanese food?
Japanese.
And vegetables, grilled meats and vegetables.
Okay, healthy.
Yeah. So when people go into the soul food, or I don't put it into a soul food category. It's pretty much a grilled meats and vegetables restaurant catering.
I know part of your bio mentioned screenwriting. Can you talk about that stream of income?
Yes. Well,
emphasis on stream.
Stream.
Wait, screenwriting? Did you say screenwriting for the stream? Okay, go ahead.
2017. And that was another thing, just Google University.
I have to check this Google University.
I started that in 2017, and I wrote a few shows, like a series. I wrote a series. And I'm also working on a screenplay for my first book.
What?
Almost done. Yeah, almost done with that. So with that. And not to piggyback off with Sharon, well, I'm gonna piggyback off.
Yeah.
But just to, when you're talent, you have a lot of talents, and you like, okay, you don't have to pick just this one thing. And then sometimes I find myself, I'm gonna pick this, and then no, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this week. This week I'm gonna work on this, and then this next week I'm gonna work on, and that's what my life consists of.
Yeah, it can be very distracting. It was when I started out, like Sharon had said, when COVID hit, we had both gotten the same speaking engagement, and it was like people were coming up afterwards because we did a presentation and we sold our stuff there. And people was like, oh, can you do this in March? I remember we had a march in June, and it was like starting to, and before that had happened, I was visualizing this event, that event, trying to do this. And like you said, you need somebody to tighten you up, because you'll wind up every day all over the place. And if you like me with ADD, you're gonna be like, what was I doing today? What was I? So being an entrepreneur is not so easy. Having multiple streams is not always so easy. You got to be organized. And I don't think I'm the greatest. I'm organized when I have a deadline. But if I got like a wide range of things, it's gonna be chaos. Complete chaos.
And that was when you said it's not easy having multiple streams. It's not easy. I know people, when people watch our show, they think politics, that's all we talk about, but there's politics involved in every single thing you do. I know, with the paperwork, with the funding, with technology, there's so many different things that can be red tape or politically motivated red tape that stops your business or taxes your business in a certain way. If you fall into the catering industry, you may be taxed differently than the actual restaurant industry. Like, it's so many different political aspects of it. And I just wanted to find out if you guys ever experienced any red tape, like, okay, with this paperwork, you have to have this, and this in order before you actually get this one certificate, or you have to have this before you get that. Are there any barriers or red tape that you've experienced within trying to start the businesses or the streams of income that you've had?
I love that question, because I would love to do a survey of entrepreneurs and see how many of us can attest to that. For me, I was pitching my services to a particular organization, and he was like, well, do you have certification in that? And I thank God for this show, because I'm learning that there's politics in everything. I didn't see it that way. And I saw that now I get to see that that's politics of another sort, and that's red flags. So he didn't care about my experience. He didn't care about, oh, I'm called of God, and oh, my passions. Do you have a certification in that? So I was like, wow. So that started me on the road to, even though I have a bachelor's in my industry and I had to go through training to become a chaplain, I am an ordained minister. So with that, counseling and things like that, that's natural and it's expected of one that's called into service like that. But there are going to be places that want to know, Melissa, Sharon, do you have your food handler's license if you think you're going to be cooking food for me? So you are going to run into those those red, I think you call it red tape, but it will make me want to get certified in those things. And there's affordable certifications and everything. This food protection certification is actually free online. So look for where you can get things for free. And some things might not require certification. No, there's no policing, so to speak, of coaches. So anybody can just wake up and say, I'm a life coach. But this is my life's work. Part of my education is in it, but I don't have certification. So that's a part of the politics, is when you go to offer a service, people that are savvy, they're going to want to know, are you qualified to do that? So that's just one of
I'm going to tie how the school is involved in the politics of it, because certain schools are lobbied by certain politicians.
Wow.
And they get kickbacks from asking or having a certain amount of people in those schools or in getting those certifications. Or they'll say, well, how do we make money off of life coaches? Like you said, anyone can wake up and say, I want to be a life coach today. But if we ask for a certification and we get kickbacks from the school, and you lobby those politicians to say, hey, we should mandate a certification program, so then that way food handlers or this type of person, their life coach, can actually need this certificate to move forward. So it's all political. It all goes back to following money. So Melissa, I know I didn't get to your red flags. Were there any that you saw or that were kind of like barriers or?
None that I can think of, but like certifications, getting certified and getting a food handlers. I'm actually studying for that right now.
Yeah. What
handler certificate. So
what about the I know there's an ISBN process to getting your book. For me, that was annoying. For me, that was annoying. When you think about, like, when you just think you could just publish. You just wrote a book and you just bind it and put it together and then that's it, boom. But I know when they would start asking me about that number and you have to read these forms, I got really annoyed with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the ISBN numbers, I purchased those like in bulk. I started purchasing them in bulk when I started my publishing company for the books. Your ISBN number is actually an identification, like a barcode and a number that keeps your book. When you don't have the ISBN number, that's basically giving anyone an option, like, okay, well, I'm going to take this book and I'm going to run some copies and I'm going to sell it. Yes, so it is good to have your own ISBN.
That was an issue, and also the copyright laws. Like, if you wrote something, technically and legally, it's yours once you write it on paper. But somebody could read it and steal it, and it's expensive to get it. Like, go through the copy. Sometimes it could be, those things can be expensive. So that's like red tape to me. If you don't have money, you want to be a writer. And you want to, so when I first did my book of poems, I did a cheap copyright. I just mailed it back. But if somebody stole it from me and they have enough money to really fight me, I probably could have lost. So
well, yeah, I've done that too. It's called a poor man's copyright.
Yeah, it's poor man.
Yes.
And also emailing it to yourself to have that electronic stamp. That's a form of copyright.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so being a creative person, it's, to me, the red tape comes in those kind of things. Knowing patents are probably the most expensive thing you have to do. And then I know, like, this woman that had, I forgot what she had, it was called Blue Ivy. And Beyonce and them, they were fighting, I guess, over the name Blue Ivy. So it's literally legitimately comes down to who puts their application in first. So like you could be doing business as Traveling Light Publishing, and then some star comes out and decides, I want Traveling Light Ministries, and take it from you because you never put in the patent for it. Like you never copyright the name or trademarked or whatever. You never did that process. Those are things as a person, creative people like we are, have to really be aware of in terms of. So when you think about red tape, that's when you talk about red tape, that's what I think of. Knowing I better do this, I better do that, I better do this.
Yeah.
And be diligent about that, because I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't have the money to do such and such. Like right now, I want a couple of trademarks and I know it's expensive, but if I'm not diligent about that, someone else could take my idea and get it trademarked and it's theirs. And then that's a legal fight that I want no parts of. So I think as entrepreneurs, we have to be diligent about what we think is important enough. I mean, it's all important, but like, no, there's something with Orsil's Grill. Let me get this name trademarked before somebody tries to steal it. And some things you don't have to trademark it because you're not going to use it like that. But if you know you're going to put this thing on apparel and mugs and journals and whatever else, we really should invest in trademarking that to lock it down so that nobody can steal it.
And even the websites like GoDaddy and all of that. You better.
Oh, yes.
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 Because Tiff, remember we had a little trouble trying to find certain places for our name.
Well, yeah, we wanted 2PoliChics on YouTube, and it's not available because 2PoliChics is
oh
already.
Wow.
Really?
That's not a trademark issue. It's just you can't have the same name.
Yeah.
On YouTube. So,
right. But if you don't beat somebody to it,
they beat us. So.
They beat you to it. So what I wanted to talk about you guys with, want to know about your Black girl magic. What's the strength in your magic? And also, do you feel like you're really supported in terms of your work by family and friends? What's your magic? Melissa, what's your magic?
My magic. Oh, let's see.
I'm glad you went first. I'll copy off what you say.
I would say my magic, I just feel like my magic has been passed down from generations. Like, we come from, like I said before, a strong background, like of strong, really strong, resilient women. And my grandmother, for one, like when I think of my grandmother, I think of Black girl magic. And that probably wasn't even thought of, you know, back then. But I just feel that, like, that's
what made her that magic. What made her with that magic?
She was strong. She was just a really strong woman in her faith in God. My grandmother, she did her own gardening. She was like, she did it all. She had a garden where she grew her own vegetables, her own fruit. She had trees, and she did it all. Like, just to see her now, I'm just in my head with her big straw hat and her big clothes and her bucket of whatever she picked to go cook for that day, you know, and just that strength. And that's what keeps me going, and how she instilled that into her girls. You know,
I think you got your next story, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So Miss Sharon, what's your Black girl magic? What keeps you going in that magic?
You know, I'm just gonna plug 2PoliChics forever. Until being asked this question, honestly, I've never thought about it. I just go about life doing what's in me to do and being, but I'm glad you girls are making me think about what my Black girl magic is so that I can continue to feed off of it. To piggyback off of Melissa, it's not outside of me. It's not something that I get off of TV or on shows that are screaming Black girl magic. It's in my blood.
Yeah.
My mother is a part. I'm a New Yorker, so I cut off the end of my excuse me, my mother. My Black girl magic does come from mother, our grandmother, but it comes from my mother, just constantly, without even saying, oh, you're somebody or this, but just watching how she flows. that natural Black girl magic. And I want to take it even back to before the foundation of the world. No hate, no shade to any other race, but I think Black women, Black people are just born with that magic because we've had to have it so hard. So God gave us a little something extra special that no matter what we put our hands to do, if we stay diligent, it's gonna prosper. And I think that's a part of our magic, what's in our blood, our DNA, and then the things that we begin to build on, you know, making our own way, my personality. That's the part of my Black girl magic, because nobody can do it like me. You know, that sass that we're, especially if you're from Brooklyn, that sassiness that we have naturally as being Black girls, having to be tough in the schoolyard, you know, that's all a part of it. Even taking some bumps and bruises and learning our way. Our flaws are a part of our Black girl magic too. If we don't fall every once in a while, we won't know how to enjoy the sweet taste of success.
Right. I like that.
All right.
I like that. What I'm gonna ask, what advice would you give to someone that's looking to become a motivational speaker or a publisher or a writer? What, like someone that doesn't know where to begin or what they should do, but they feel like that's their calling. What advice would you give them? Let's see who started the last question. I'm going to ask Sharon first.
Good, because guys, it's hard for me. I don't want to forget the questions. Sometimes you just stumble into things. So back to the injury. When I was injured and I was convalescing on my couch, excuse me, that's a word that my friend used. When I was laid up, I was watching. When I was laid up and I wasn't able to
shanked. When you were shanked.
Yes, I was watching.
I love words. You know that.
Yes. I was watching. I'm sorry. It's like a little bit of feedback. I'm sorry if I'm talking over someone.
No. I was saying as you were convalescing on your couch. I like that.
Yes. While I was laid up, I started watching. I was watching The Secret on Netflix, and then just different things. And I was like, I've always been a talker, like, you know, always motivating my friends. It used to be so bad. I was so into Oprah many years ago when her show was different, that one of my friends was like, let me guess, Oprah said. It's like I followed everything that Oprah said. So I started to watch a lot of shows like that, The Secret and different things. And I was like, I could do that. And then I started to immerse myself in motivational speakers, Les Brown, John Maxwell, like so many motivational speakers. And not to copy anybody, but it gives you inspiration of like, you know what, I could do that. And it gives you encouragement. You should find your own voice, find your own story. Like Melissa, great storyteller. And Cindy said it, everybody has a story to tell. So find your story. Lisa Nichols, these people are great storytellers. So that could begin to help to shape you. And they'll also give you pointers of where to go. You might want to get a certificate in motivational speaking. I know Les Brown and Valerie Burton, a few people offered these certificates, but just find your own voice. Start motivating in your living room. Start making up motivational speeches, because I think before you try to go out into the world, you got to master your own world. You cannot go out into the world and be like, you know, my family thinks I'm funny, or they say, you know, I have a good speaking voice. Begin to get comfortable with your voice. So in your living room, act like you're speaking to an audience of thousands and start nurturing that gift. And then you might want to go out and get a certificate or something like that. And then start getting engagements whenever you're invited somewhere. Don't go, oh, you know, I don't have the experience. That's how you get the experience. So nurturing that and just watching the market. I know who the top motivational speakers are and how they got into what they're doing. And just learn from other people. And don't be afraid to sound, you know, fumble over your words. That's how you perfect the gifts.
Yeah, you know, I fumble all the time with my words.
Me too. And just make a joke out of it. People like when you're being real. Make a joke out of it.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with it. We all make. What about you, Melissa? What advice would you give to someone starting out as a writer or as a publisher even?
The advice that I would give someone is for a writer is to just start. You know, I get a lot of people like, oh, you know what, I want to write a book. I want to write a book, you know, and they have good stories, you know, and I'm like, just start, you know, just
Yeah.
start writing. And that's how I got started. And I just did not, I never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Just
writing,
type
it,
word.
yeah,
Start it.
you just start. Um,
Yes.
it's therapeutic. I think
Mm-hmm.
um, when you begin to write, you start to kind of like reinventing yourself, like you taking things from the inside and putting it on paper and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like sharing it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it could help somebody, it could help
Mm-hmm.
someone else.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Wow.
I would say, as far as, again, piggybacking on what Sharon,
Uh, uh,
We piggybacking off each other. That's
mhm.
right.
so what we say, iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Iron
Yes.
sharpens iron.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we have to. Um, just do it, you know, recreate and looking at videos and going on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube and watching different things and just start writing down notes and looking at them. Okay, look, I'm gonna, by the time you finish, you'll have like 1,000 notes and like, oh, I'm gonna put this
True.
in a book.
Yep.
I make a book out of it. I have a client who he's writing a memoir. And
Wow.
I tell you, yeah,
Wow. Mhm.
transcription.
Oh my.
Because everything is written down, like really.
Wow.
I mean, he really literally has like 257 pages that he wrote, you know, wrote, and it's really good. I'm looking forward to that coming out
Yeah,
soon too.
wow. I know like Bill Clinton's memoir is like 1,000 pages or
Oh
something.
my.
So yeah. I think
Yeah,
it was like 900 and so, memoirs are long. Memoirs
Woo.
can be long.
they
Yeah.
can.
Um so you guys, we're coming down to the end of this. We thank you so much.
No.
I know this is such a great conversation.
This is helping me grow.
Fabulous, fabulous 50s.
Yes.
How do you replenish yourself? How do you put back in? We talked about you giving out. We talked about putting out. How do you,
That's for another show.
we
Putting
talked
out,
about
right?
putting out. So how do you put back in?
Oh, it
Mm,
depends on the level of regrouping. Like, what am I regrouping from?
I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I like
On
that.
like, how stressful was my week? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I do yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I take detox baths.
Oh,
Yes, yes, they
mm-hmm.
are refreshing, very refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
And just spending that time, just because I find I'm not a motivational speaker, not yet, but
Not yet.
Yes, she is.
you know, like I give a lot, you know, I'm a giver, you know, and sometimes it can be exhausting and it's like, okay, I need to put this back. I need to be refreshed. And that's how I do it. I meditate, yoga, take my baths
Hey,
and just, yeah, just
wow.
have my own personal moment, my moment with God,
Mm-hmm.
and then he refreshes me.
Wow.
So
Mm-mm,
I
wow.
get it back.
How about you, Miss Sharon? What's one thing you
Uh,
do to replenish?
I do a few things. I was sitting there trying to think of like what really I would love to say prayer, but sometimes it's like sometimes I don't have the strength to pray. And like Tiffany said earlier, you have somebody pray for you. But in the moments that are right at hand, I could say that I'll come into a room and it's dark. I don't put on any lights. I don't put on any music. I don't answer my phone. And I just sit there. And when you're a person that has the privilege of hearing people, people's problems and trying to coach them, so I'm constantly taking on stuff. And sometimes I get emotional. You get involved. You don't want to see anyone hurt. I don't want to see anyone hurt. So I just do this little thing in my mind of like releasing. I'm releasing everything that I took in of someone else's and I'm not making it mine. I sit quiet and I just constantly release, release, release. And then just the day to day, it could be in a funny TV show or something like that. It doesn't have to all be so, because I can go there too. But I like to watch cooking shows. And and cooking, that's a release for me. So it's not just one thing. I would say prayer, sitting quiet in the dark, cooking, watching a cooking show, calling on my sister, even calling Melissa. Like, so I have many different outlets, but if I'm by myself, I would say that's the main thing, just sitting quiet and making sure that I'm releasing.
Okay, so now it's been such a lovely time watching and listening to you guys and hearing your stories and your motivation and your disappointments and the highs and lows of everything. There's always, and we always say there's pros and cons to everything. If someone paints a pretty picture and they're doing it all the time, there's something behind that. I'm skeptical pretty picture all the time. So if you had a magic wand, this is our last question. If you had a magic wand and you can do anything with it, or you can have or gain anything from it, and what would that thing be? If you could change something, if you can gain something, if you can get something, what would that magic wand do for you? Let's see. I don't know. What do you say? No, let's see.
That was so funny. Who looks like they're not paying the most attention? Call on them.
Darren.
I know, you know what? It's like you try to hide. Honestly, guys, end world hunger. I'm just kidding.
That's the beauty pageant. That's the beauty pageant. Yeah.
A magic wand. Oh my God. Not an easy question.
The first thing that comes to your mind, that's the answer. The first thing that comes to your mind.
Susie's like, oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry, Melissa. Melissa's like, thank
God.
God.
Melissa gets to think about this while I'm on a hot seat. Okay, Tiffany, you help me. Honestly, the first thing that came to my mind, if I had a magic wand, I still don't know.
Let's turn it back over to Melissa. Melissa, do you have anything that you?
That's not fair to her. Do you have anything, Melissa?
She had enough time. Yeah, what's your wand? Go ahead now.
She had enough time.
God, you know what?
Well, I fumbled.
That is tough. It is really a tough question. A magic wand.
I'll say this. We ask this question all the time, and I don't even know what I would say if I was asked the question.
Well, wait a minute. Wait. Let me throw some shade. So,
oh boy,
all the answers that people have said, they can't think of nothing. Have they really been watching the show?
Ooh.
I watch.
Hold on. Y'all don't ask everybody.
You tell them, Melissa.
Don't ask everybody.
So, okay, you could think globally or personally or for someone else.
Let me think.
So
I have something.
Sharon, we'll pick you.
Yes.
Sharon.
What did you say?
I said, Sharon, we'll pick you. Sharon, go ahead.
You are so wrong. You're so wrong. Okay. If I had a magic wand, and I'm not trying to be deep, but this is at my heart. And unfortunately, I knew it and I lost it. I'm starting to learn it. If I had a magic wand, I would just wish for women to begin to know who they are. And we throw out these things of my true self, the best version of me. A lot of us don't believe it. You could tell by the choices that we make, myself included. I wish that every woman really, really knew her worth and her value and to truly walk in authenticity, because that informs how we show up in the world, the things that we do, how we help others when we know who we are.
That's a great answer.
My heart answer. It's from my heart.
I love that. I love it. But I'll tell you this, I would be selfish with my answer, with my wand.
I can't. What would you do?
It wouldn't be for anybody else.
She probably traveled somewhere.
At least to be honest.
But I
So my wand will work for you. No. At least you're being honest.
So Melissa, you getting all like this time.
Uh-oh.
Was that enough time? No.
I want what she wants.
Yeah.
Melissa's on the hot seat.
I would say like to stay healthy, stay consistent, and just to continue to be an inspiration to other women, like to be an inspiration.
Wow.
I like that.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
You ladies, fabulous, 40, 50 fabulous. Doing the thing, thriving, striving, and we just want to thank you for coming on the show today. Time with us, talking entrepreneurship, building. Tell us how, in 30 seconds each, your little commercial of how they could catch you. Guys, these are my books. She published them for me. She's a great publisher. Melissa. I know it's Susie, sorry. Great publisher. So it's not like some bootleg looking book on paper and paper. It doesn't look like, she's with the staples. No, it's not that. Tell us in 30 seconds each your commercial of your products and where we can find you. And I say 30 seconds, but I'm probably not even timing it. Go ahead.
I can't. Is Melissa going first? I don't want to.
No, you are.
Okay. Well, this is my t-shirt that I designed. It's called Shower Your Soul. I'm a big soul showerer. And my book also published by Melissa, Soul Showers. You can reach out to me through email, sharonshawsoulshowers@gmail.com to speak to me about my products. I have a podcast, Soul Showers with Shari, wherever podcasts are available. And I'm on YouTube, Soul Showers with Shari, Facebook, Shari Showers, Instagram, Sharon Shaw Soul Showers. Just find me. Come on, get this book, get this t-shirt, shower your soul.
If you guys don't catch that, you can always reach out to us, 2PoliChics, and we'll give you the information for shows.
Uh-oh.
Soul Showers.
It's a tongue twister, right?
Every show, it never fails.
Go ahead, Melissa.
It's the tongue twister.
Okay, go ahead, Melissa.
Soul Showers.
I have my books, Traveling Light, Comes to Light, and this is my latest baby, Affirmations for Traveling Light. You can reach me at travelinglightpublishing.com. I am working on my website. If there's anyone out there, I'm networking right now.
Yeah. A web designer, right?
Web designer, yes. And I try to I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna build my own website.
That's not easy.
I have patience for a lot of things, but that is just not one of them.
Yeah.
Not one of
them. So what's it? You say your email is?
travelinglight@ymail.com.
Okay.
You can follow me on Instagram at miss_travelinglight and my Facebook page, Traveling Light.
Okay. Got it.
So I like that. No baggage, traveling real life.
Yeah, that title is very catchy.
On the shoulder.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. We've had a great time with you guys. You can always follow us. If you're watching us, we're at PoliChics, and everywhere else we're 2PoliChics on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So, and on Gmail, 2PoliChics@gmail.com. You can always email us. So thank you guys for joining. See you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much.